Hello and welcome to Talk Branson. This is your host, Radney Pennington, and we got a show for you today. I'm here talking with Daryell Scrivner, who is currently running for prosecuting attorney here in Taney County, which is Branson. Daryell, thanks for talking with me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. So tell me a little bit about what you do and what your plans are.
Okay, and to get my name's Daryell Scrivner, but right. I've been a prosecutor now for 15, 16 years in Stone County, Missouri. I'm an assistant over there. I've always lived in Taney County, mostly in Branson. I've had my own law practice here, but I'm running now for Taney County prosecuting attorney for the elected position. But I've done that in Stone County for 15 or 16 years. I had my own practice here in Branson for years. I moved here about 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And about 16 years ago, the Stone County prosecutor came to me, and he just brought up the idea of me working for him on a federal grant that specializes in domestic and sexual violence against women. And that's an area that's always been real burden on me. We all have family members and situations we've been through, and my family has been touched by that, and I really felt God's calling in that area. So I ended up quitting my full-time job office in Branson, and I went to work there. And since then, for 15 years, I've done every domestic violence case, which is, I used to keep track, but it's been thousands and thousands, right, unfortunately. But I've handled everything from murder cases to burglaries, drug court, these kind of things.
Right.
And so it's just kind of been my calling. And I'm kind of just hoping now this year I'm running in Taney to kind of take what I've done there and bring it back over to my home.
Right.
And so that's where I'm focused at the moment.
Fantastic. Now you're also doing, you were telling me earlier, like fundraisers and things like that. Tell me a little bit about those.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to do a campaign that's, some of the old school things. I mean, the signs and this and that.
Right.
But more important to me is actually meeting people. And I can do some things like at events and these things that I go to, but if you're not careful, that takes up all your time, and no one really gets to know what you're about.
Right.
All the candidates are there with pins or whatever, but no one really gets to talk to you and meet. So I have a series of events I've started. Someone gave me the idea, and I'm doing the first one's on June 21st at Fat Daddy's in Forsyth, and I'm just going to have a barbecue buffet dinner, and then have some local entertainment, Southwest Connection. Mm-hmm. And Dino Strunk's been a friend of mine and a musician here in town. And I thought, what a great way to give some help to some local entertainers, right, and then also help make a fun event. And so we're just going to do a buffet dinner, concert, and I'm only charging $15 a person, which just kind of covers the cost. But people can come out, ask me questions. It's not much of a program. I just want to kind of give my platform, some of the things I believe in, and then have them, meet me and hopefully get, Southwest Connection some publicity and have some fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. So now, like you said, you've been here in Branson for many years. What got you here to Branson in the first place?
It's funny because I'm different. I have two opponents, and both of them have been here, born and raised here.
Right.
And I'm the new one at 20 years. And honestly, I was basically raised in Kansas City. And when my first child was born, I had a daughter. By the time she was about 1 year old, I decided that there's no way in the world that I could raise my daughter there. It wasn't safe. It wasn't the values I wanted. The schools were horrible, in my opinion. Crime, all these things. And Branson and Taney County were a place that we had gone with church events and family vacations my whole life. And I thought, I want to move there. It's the Christian conservative values, right, safe homes, schools for the kids. And so I just up and moved my family 20 years ago and came down here. I kind of say I'm Taney County by choice.
Right.
I love it here, and but that's why. I mean, it's just this, and it's kind of with the prosecutor thing. I wanted somewhere that's safe. Crime was attached, and that was 20 years ago, and things have kind of changed. There's a lot more,
right?
A lot more population now, a lot more transient, in and out, citizens, and then we have the the crime, the amount of serious crime has really gone up. And so I just have some plans to try to help that and address it.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the plans that you have to help address all that.
Okay. Well, thanks. I really appreciate that. I am very issue driven. Anyone knows me. There's two things I'm talking about: is my experience, which I've been doing this a long time, but also my passion. And sometimes I get carried away, but I've been meeting with a lot of people in the area, and something that I've come up with just recently is I'm going to call it a jobs program. And this sounds kind of strange, but there's two groups of people that over the years I've really seen have some needs that I think we could reduce crime and really change some lives. Number one is young, nonviolent offenders. These are kids get out of school, they're aimless, they don't know what they're doing, they don't have a job, so they get into drugs, running around with the wrong friends. That leads to stealing, the burglaries. Most of the burglaries we see, breaking in houses, which are very dangerous and scary for the community. Most of that comes from trying to get money for drugs or even looking for drugs.
Right.
And then the second group is, I obviously have a particular drive towards victims of domestic and sexual assault. And people always ask, why don't these women just leave? You know, they're being beaten up, they're being assaulted. Well, why would they stay? And there's so many reasons we could talk about that the whole time.
Right.
But what I'm addressing now is the fact that one of the main factors is they have no hope. They don't have a job, they don't have the money to get out, they don't have housing, they don't have friends and family. Abusive men often cut them off from contacts, so they have nowhere to go. And there was just a study coming out last month said that, again, the most dangerous time for a woman is who tries to leave, the first 30 days. And so, because of those two groups, I've been talking with some area leaders, and I come up with an idea that we're going to do a job and needs assessment for all these young kids and the victims of domestic violence. We're going to get them screened for what their skills they have, for what needs they have. And through this program and some federal or state grants and some money and some area businesses that have programs, we can get them jobs, we can get them education, we can get safe housing for these women that's secure and private. And all these things, if a woman can have this, she can leave. If a young nonviolent offender has these things, they did a program similar. He's so much less likely to get in trouble again.
Right.
Because if we don't do something, if we just slap on the wrist and go back, then they repeat offenders, and then it's more serious, and I end up sending them to prison, and that's not doing anybody good. But we have to, because it never got fixed.
Right.
But I just think if there's some way that we can do these programs to give them this, we can really cut down the crime. It's going to save the county money from not having the jail population. And most importantly, everyone's going to be safe. It's going to reduce the break-ins, the drug use, and all these things. And then the other thing, I know I'm going long, but the other thing is, one thing we started in Stone County is a veterans court. And in Taney County, we kind of pride ourselves in taking care of our veterans and respecting them. And we started noticing over the years that veterans come back, even now, and through the, we've had some war times where they come back with PTSD, they come back with issues that tends to lead to drug use, it tends to lead to some violent issues. They have a hard time assimilating, and our system's not set up to help that. They're not the same as the regular criminal or the regular person having these problems. They have unique problems. So what we've done in Stone County is set up a program where they go into a specialized treatment court, like a drug court, but this is just for veterans. They work with the VA, with counseling, to get their medication correct, to get all these things necessary, because they're not bad people. These are people that have never been in trouble before their whole lives, but they come back and they have problems. And so I've started, along with others, we've started this program to help these vets and get them to specialized treatment, and I really want to bring that to Taney County. I think it's respectful, and I think they deserve it. And I think it'll do some really good and help people.
That's great. So let's see, when can people go out and vote?
The election is August 7th,
Okay.
2018. Now that's the primary date, which means you have to vote on a Republican ticket to vote for that. Taney County, I have 2 opponents, and we are all on the Republican ticket.
Okay.
And so the general election's in November, but there won't be any opposition in that.
Right.
So basically the election is August 7th.
Okay, fantastic. Anything else you want to add or talk about?
No, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem, man.
And I was telling you off record. I know you can, but I really admire what you've done over the years and all the work you're putting into this. I was telling my wife, I remember seeing you as a kid at different restaurants and kind of watching you just move up the ladder. And this series of the Talk Branson and people, I think, one thing I talk to people is a lot of people say the entertainers here aren't real parts of the community, that they don't get involved. I've been told, don't worry about them because they don't vote, they're not interested. And I just think that's so untrue. The entertainers I know really love this community.
Right.
It's not just about making a few dollars here and there. They're involved, they're concerned, and they give. There's so many. You look in the paper any week, and there's so many, charitable concerts given, things for donations for families who have cancer, other situations. You see it every week, and I just really respect what you do and the hard work that you put in.
Thank you very much. Cool. Hey, thank you so much for talking with me again. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.